Okay, I'm about to share a video. This is a recording from a meeting, a little exploration my friend and I had. My friend Marissa and I are in the process of uncovering, rediscovering, exploring oceanic technology that exists within, well, that's kind of what this video is about. To say that it exists like within it, only like an Atlantean timeline or perspective isn't exactly accurate. But the one that we've been working within exists within a version of Earth. And there are different pods there, and there's like elements involved, and there's a million different ways, maybe not a million, we don't know how many. There's a lot of different ways that it can be utilized. The space itself, the technology itself, there's many different star systems involved in it. And effectively, this technology used to be used at one point in time, right? Depending on which view you're looking at it from. We're in the process of like just rediscovering it, understanding what we're working with. And so we met up to go exploring, and I didn't record the whole thing. And once it started getting cool, I hit record. So that's why I'm giving this little rundown of what we're talking about. So started this meeting. Marissa had done like a channeled message about the tech itself and about the space from a Lyran being. You can watch it on her YouTube. I'll link her stuff below. And in this video, he was speaking about how different star systems have been involved in the creation of the technology itself and the use of it, etc. How different consciousnesses from these different energies or star systems have had their hand in implementation of the tech, in use of it. They did not mention Sirian at all. He did not mention Sirian at all, which I thought was interesting because I've been using the space, working with the oceanic environment and the people there for over a year, and it was always very clearly to me Sirian energy, along with sometimes they would describe themselves more as like Atlantean Lemurian, which is kind of what we're talking about today. So that was the question we went into it with. Marissa remote views. And so we were basically just asking, like, how is Sirian energy involved? Because from what I've experienced and using this space for over a year, they are. So tell us about that. And effectively what they showed us was that Sirius was like we were up right here. There was like a direct copy of Earth. On this side, the Sirian side, there was, first of all, the water felt different. It was lively. The technology in the space had been being utilized, and it was like in beautiful working condition. Over here, where we are on the Earth side, it had been run down, not as active. You could just feel a difference between the two. But it was like they were showing like a direct copy. And so I guess I'll just let the rest of the recording speak for itself. But like effectively, that's what this is about. So if you're into that sort of thing, awesome. They were basically just talking about the idea of the fall of Atlantis, how Earth's original blueprint included both active life in water and active life on Earth, and they were both together. They weren't separate, which is what we see in like Lemurian times and what we had in Atlantean times. And then there was this like, they basically were just showing this split that transpired where Earth was wanted to experience herself through two different ways moving forward, but they were split. And so that's kind of what we are exploring, is just like the process. Like, what does this mean? like what does that mean for what actually is Sirius, or specifically Sirius B. And take everything, like with any channeling, take everything. Don't get caught up in semantics, whatever. This is just what we were being shown and what we were exploring. I did some follow-up channeling about it. Maybe I'll talk about that after I share this part. But I think that catches you up to where we're at with the recording. So again, if you feel called to or interested in ancient technology, Atlantean, Lemurian, Earth-based stuff, as well as Syrian stuff, as well as just timeline stuff, evolution of humanity's consciousness, genetics, etc. That's the kind of stuff we are talking about in this video. I think, did we go into anything else? I don't think so. But guys, it's super cool and it's trippy and it's just so fun to begin exploring these things and remembering more and more about what is going on. So I'll just let the video play and talk to you later.
Maybe not merging, but it like you can create basically portals between the twin fragments that are still the same on that aspect of Sirius and this aspect of Earth because they were conjoined at one point. So by working on the technology there, with the knowing of it shifting the technology here or having like communicating through that portal, it like helps to activate that same technology here that is a twin aspect to the other planet. And so I see there are other like portals like this on the Earth. They're bringing through like Stonehenge is one of those portal gates that is connected to, and I see like Earth has like a few of this. I don't know, like I see Earth and then I see like that's really interesting. Like north, east, west, south as a planet. So Earth is surrounded by like 4 versions of itself, but they're all different planets now. And so Sirius is one of those, which is why it mirrors. And because that like technology is still here on Earth, it was never destroyed, that portal is still open to it. And it hasn't been able to like fully be strong enough, just that portal by itself, to like make this activated because the frequencies on Earth have been like held down. So it truly like hasn't been able to work, but the structure is still there. So now with Earth's frequency rising, that like portal is able to assist again, which is why it's like calling members to it to do that like work. And same with that like mountain that came through in Trey-san's message. That mountain is like a almost like exact replica of one that's on Sirius.
Whoa.
That's like still present today. Yeah. But like the land masses are different, right? So that's why like other portals have kind of like collapsed, is I guess what they're saying, because things have moved, but for some reason this one has stayed pretty much the same, probably because it's so far in our ocean, you know,
Right.
where the surface has shifted. Same with Sirius, like their surface has shifted. It's all underwater now.
So let me tell you why this is extra interesting, because when I was starting to, when I was like Malaya and Sasha, they came around like 6 months ago and they were like, we're Syrian, we're like molecular, whatever. But they were like, we're on the same, we work on the same team. But I was like, this must just be like a weird, but no, I think literally they're actively that on Sirius right now. And this is why it's like OSHA or whatever, is like a mirror. There, that's really weird. But I guess my point is being that like the scientists that we've experienced ourselves to be working with or that I've experienced for a long time, I'm like, how are you? I don't know. This is just like clicking a lot.
Yeah.
So what else do they want to share about this? I guess I can ask too.
Do you have any light language that's coming through you?
I'm not very in my body. Let me.
Okay. Because I hear that there's, I don't know, we could both receive if something pours through you right now. Or like,
Ha.
yeah.
Urte, taya, crash, crarte, grus, urte, tia, res, crarte, shkrarte, grarte, ti, crarte, core, arrate, tiarate, tiarate, ti, rete, sacrate, crus, urte, shkratia, ore, sacrarte, ti, shkrarte, tu, riti, tiaratea, rete, tiara, arrate, tiarate, tiarateta, orate, tarate, sarate, shkrarte, grasa, rate, tarate, cuarte, ti, irate, sara, arrate, tarate, orate tarate, ratatatata, orosorate tarate tarate, crorate tishiarate tarate tar orosorara, arate tiarate tara, rate tara, rate tarata, tata orotusukurata grarati tishiara, arrasarate tarate urutu turutu surate tetia, ishik a, suk oash, ala, rete, urututurete, tiarate, tara, arata, atukora, arras, arate, tishika, arate, tututu, urututu, uska, arate, tiarate, rete, tiarate, ta, asaka, aturu, surutu, surutu, shukura, arate, ti, ishika, arate, tarate, rete, ti, isa, tu, surate, ka, arate, ka, asako, arate, ti, ka, arate, urusurutu, arate, tiarate, urete, tiarate, rete sku rete i alla rete gras kra rete us ra atis ka a asa ushasa kra retea ta grosuru utusuru tu rete ti rete sku ra rete ti rete ti sa ka rete urete suru tu sku ra rete kra kra tu ko rete sa kra atika rete kura rete ti ishik a Iskrata ka as urutu suko asha. Sushu. Shuka a.
Okay. Do you feel ready to receive?
Yes.
Okay. Whew. So, so, um, through that, what I saw was we kind of came back into that, like we're still connected through those electric charges right now and in that vortex. And then our vortex, or portal, we shifted and we went to Sirius. And when we tapped into the Syrian water, like holy cow. I don't know if you felt like a shift in your vibration, but it was like just tranquility. Like it was like soft and like light and charged and like so beautiful feeling. Anyways, I feel like one of the guides, maybe Malaya, is that it? Malaya,
Malaya.
Malaya, yeah, yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Um, was basically guiding us down to show us what's happening on their planet. And then she showed me through the work that you just did, like the light language, she showed me what was happening through us. There's like, I see this like board and it has these two like setups, like similar setups. They're showing me like, what's that game? Battleship,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like the same setup, kind of. Um, or like an old telephone board. So through that light language, like something is being like plugged out and like plugged into the next, and it's creating as like a connection.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then like that's like what your energetic work has been down there a lot, like that light language. And that's kind of what people are doing when they're taken down there is they're acting as those like the body itself, our bodies itself are acted as like channels to plug in energy from the Syrian one to get this like heartbeat moving again in this like device, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah.
and so like yeah, it's like plugging from Sirius into Earth, like the mirrored pods. That makes sense.
It does. What is the benefit, like other than I just want to hear clearly from them.
Yeah.
I guess why are we trying to do this? Other than to fully reactivate the ones here, or what else is there? Like, what are the reasoning?
So it helps the raising of the vibration of Earth itself. It also brings access so humanity can start using this technology on their own planet. Because while yes, they are mirrored images, the Earth part over time, the Earth pods over time have been adapted to Earth and the element aspect of
Mhm.
that. The elements are beneficial for humanity. So, like, while yes, we could go use the Syrian pods, the elemental aspect of it is different. So,
Right.
if we can charge this one, but also like it's just like she's saying like it's happening as a remembrance key. So it's like it's like working through the inside of Earth out to assist in the raising of humanity, which then assists in like overall galactic health, if you will. Because
Mhm.
like the Earth is all of the galactic shit in one place, basically. Like, so like it's like Sirius's part in this galactic universal awakening that's happening. And it's like she's like it's like a loophole almost of like helping and assisting Earth uh by like bringing these technologies online, and like it's happening again from that inside out, whereas like there are only specific beings that can like come to Earth, but there's a lot of energetic support that can occur and be approved. And so this was like one of those approved ways of galactic assistance to help like rid of those negative
Okay.
beings, yeah, or frequencies in the universe.
Okay. What else? What else should we learn?
I'm not really seeing anything, but I just heard like while we're in Sirius, they're kind of like giving us a tour that we're just collecting on our own. Like by being there, we're like collecting energy so we can take it back after they're done. But I feel called to just kind of sit here and receive that. I'm not really seeing much. But I think my body's receiving stuff. If you
I'm
I
like up against I'm like up against a barrier or wall, almost like where they're showing it to me, almost like where Earth and Sirius meet as mirrors. And when I put my hand up here, I can feel. I don't. I think they're just trying to say like the. I think they're trying to further help us understand the mirrored aspect or the connection of it. But like, it's right
yes.
over here. And I know you said we're in Sirius. They're just showing me this as an image, but it's like I can see the waters. There, there's like there's a barrier here, but only by frequency. But you could easily put your hand in, and then you'd be in the other. I don't know. That's what I'm
Yeah,
experiencing.
I see what you're seeing. It almost looks like when you're underwater and you look up and there's that like glass kind of look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, chikia matsikia latrama sikiawa. Sukia malatrama si anyama sikia shi anyatsu anyama danene yetot ea shukiabo insiama se ezikia latrama sikia sikia shikia nyotsia petsuku ep sikiawa. Setsi atu anyama te echikia yamata te echikia mosikia latrama sikiawa. Tikia.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. I okay, I'm just gonna share. Um, the separation between Sirius and Earth was the fall of Atlantis. That was the split.
I got a bunch of resonance.
Yeah, because I asked like what was my like what's my role here? And they said facilitator. And then they showed me like taking like Earth like land energy, bringing it down, taking this energy, bringing it up, and being this like facilitator between the connection. But then I was like, but we're on Sirius, like there is no land. Like, what are you talking about? And then they showed me like that's not how it always was. And then I saw the two planets merge together and Atlantis was there. And then they showed me that the fall of Atlantis was when it was like one of the last times that the earth split. And that's why a lot of Atlantean souls who lived during that time are here once more, is because the earth is moving through another split. And we've
Right.
been through that and we know what it's like. Um, but it's going to be like different. Like, yes, there is going to be an earth like falling off. Um, but Sirius was like the last time that frequency shift happened. Like one of those. So it fell here on Earth, but on Sirius, Atlantis kept going, and that's why it's oceanic. That's like why Sirius is what it is today, is because Atlantis kept going. The people that continued on that timeline kept living and kept going. And Earth was the like we talk about 3D, 5D, Earth was the 3D, where like Sirius was the 5D in that split, for an example. Uh,
Weird.
does that resonate?
It definitely, the first thing you said, it definitely resonates. I'm now thinking of like, okay, because Sirius is old as fuck. Like in their Sirius ABC, there's planets that aren't water based. So it feels there are planets that are and aren't. And so I guess I want to clarify. They're specifically referencing perhaps Sirius B, which I think is what most people associate with it. So they're effectively saying that the two were twins. They were like overlapping. They were one. And perhaps
They
Sirius was
were,
more the oceanic water aspect of it.
yes.
And then when the split occurred, so the Atlantean time period of Earth was existing within what we would now call quote unquote Sirius, but it split.
Yeah.
Or at least the oceanic life of it was okay.
Yeah.
How does that tie into Lemurian time period? Because right, like the dolphins and the mer people, all that, like most people, like at least I associated more of the water stuff with Lemurian times. But actually, you know what, in Lemurian times it was like there was that beautiful symbiotic relationship between the people that lived on the land and the water. They did not see themselves as separate. So are they saying that Sirius wasn't its own thing at that time? Or Sirius B wasn't?
Yeah. So it was like one, and then we know the fall, the collapse of Atlantis because we are on that half of the split Earth. What once was, it wasn't Earth back then, it was a different planet, and now they're like two planets. Um, and so, but then Sirius turned into what it is today because Atlantis never collapsed in that timeline. It never collapsed, and so I feel like the Lemurian aspect, I feel like they're like tied together almost. Like, is Lemuria what happened to Earth after Atlantis, or is it totally
No,
separate?
it's before. It's before things got.
Before Atlantis, you mean?
Yeah, because they
Lemuria?
would like, you want to look at it like root races. And then here's where I've been like, okay, let's talk about the human genome aspect of it, because that all equates to as the earth is, so are is the human genome. So that was like a different makeup, the Lemurian time period, than that of the Atlantean time period, if you want to look at it in terms of genetics, but then also in terms of what was transpiring around. So the what most people know to be true is that the Lemurian time period was a time of like it was very divine feminine and it was very everything was symbiotic and it was when the Atlantean group came in that as a catalyst that things started to change effectively. Um
Yeah. Because
at least that's the story.
I kept seeing that there was like Lemurian energy feeding Sirius a little bit. Like the Atlantis energy that is on Sirius, I saw Lemurian feeding that, but I'm not a history buff, so I don't.
I think also we can change the if you look at it from a different, not a different perspective, from a perspective of like the fact that this is actually all just energy and these aren't actual like planets, then this makes a lot more sense and it's a lot easier to understand that we're
Yeah.
just like we're creating a physical thing out of the idea of the energy that we're discussing,
Yeah.
which I think is very helpful.
Yes. I would have, yes, agree.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
We do not talk about this, Marissa.
Is this, yeah, is there anything else that you want us to know about this split? Okay, I see that we're now at the Earth pods, and it feels a lot different frequency wise. But to integrate it act as a portal for like the knowledge that we kind of soaked up there, the energy that we soaked up there. And I just see us like sitting in the middle of that circle of pods. Oh, whew, like intentionally connecting in with that stone, that mountain. And like uh channeling, acting as like a conduit channel for that information to like soak back into Earth, and that will help bring forward the consciousness that the pods are like working off of in Sirius to Earth. And it strengthens that connection between them, between the two.
Okay. So when Alexander them said we're like Atlantean, do they, this is gonna get, this is semantics now. So he's Earth based, or like, then how does that work? Do you know what I mean? Is he stuck in the one where it hasn't been restored?
Volunteer through the portal,
Okay.
what I heard. I think for our understanding, he has and carries the energy. That's why he was saying he's like never really died, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has and has carried on that energy from the Atlantis that never fell,
Right.
and is now through this like portal accessing us and helping in the reclamation of this system for Earth. Same with like everyone in that council, I feel like.
Okay. So
Same,
then,
same with the dolphins.
okay. So then you had said you'd asked what your role was. They said facilitator.
Yeah,
They,
like land ocean connection, creating that connection and like feeding it and like bringing things down to it, then for them to take back up to the surface, kind of.
okay, then what's my role?
What is Kayla's role in this? Um, Wait just a moment. Direct your energy to that stone.
Hmm. Shh. Shh.
I asked what your role, and immediately I heard protector, overseer. Um, your energy by being like familiarized with this ultimately like protects the space on Earth. Um, but you also have the understanding of like the makeup and the different technologies and tools. Like I like you have your hand in like like you know everything through that Syrian knowledge, through that self. Uh and it's like a conductor.
Yeah, okay. That's what they've showed me before. Like a PM, like project manager
Yeah,
slash conductor.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm not crazy, Kayla. You're hearing things right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And obviously that'll continue to unfold, but like would love to know details of what that looks like per se, for both of us. But,
Yeah, let me ask that. Like, how can our energies work together for the betterment of this structure here on Earth? Mhm. This is interesting. So I see you like in the middle, like conducting, like moving all the pieces. And then I'm like tending to like the people that are
I
present.
just got so much resonance. My body's freaking out.
Yeah, like I'm like tending and putting them where they need to be, like giving them like what needs to be given to them, like just sharing in that way, like nurturing, and you're like moving and like conducting, and I am like that. I think that's too why like space holder has come through, but like facilitate like teaching as well. I see, but also like setting up the pods for a great experience is kind of what I see, but like also like telling like you conduct and then I read that energy and basically like tell people where to go, and like make sure they have what they need to do what they need, and like jumping around and like facilitating, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense. And when I think about like how it's like how I've like because both I was like, there's all of this works in some way. That makes total sense. And I think that optimizes the whole thing about it is like optimizing not just the experience, but the technology itself, but optimizing people's
Gifts and tools
energy.
and energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what so that's what I for me it's like we've needed the structure, the format of it, and then from there it's like we have no idea what we're going to discover via this format and like just implementing this format of doing it.
Yeah.
Like I think is going to be crazy. Like I think the stuff that's going to
Yeah. I think that's why too it makes sense a little bit as to why the first like you have those big bursts that come through, and that is the conducting. And while
yeah.
that's happening, we're like moving the pieces under you while that's happening. And then like it makes sense that then I would have like the information then based off of your con conducted energy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
That that's why like I was thinking on it, and that's why I wrote in the notes thing. Like I feel like what's supposed to happen is watch what's already been transpiring. Because yeah, I don't, and even as we've been sitting here today, I'm like, I don't fucking ever want to do this by my. I like I know I said this last time and then I disagreed, but perhaps because I felt protective. But I'm like, I don't want to fucking figure out what's going on anymore. I hate doing that. Like I don't like it, and so this makes the most sense to me. Like I'd love to just be the physical channel and let it ride, and then that's it.
And I'm a channel, dude. I'm a speaker. So it
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
like I am that like the facilitator of like, okay, this goes here and that goes there and this is happening and that is happening and
yeah,
oh, I'm feeling this
understand.
and yeah, like that makes sense.
Okay. So I guess now it's like we could just fuck around and find out with it, but is the goal more now like what you were just saying where we're continuing to bring people down to restore it, right? Or is it more of individuals having their own healing experiences? I guess if you're doing the positive, I mean it's both.
I hear guiding, like we are guides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like let me see.
Okay.
Like you said, and I think this is why so strongly you feel it should be used in like group. It works better when there are multiple parties present, but also like people can try and go down there and like use it themselves and you can get some stuff done, but it's more powerful what occurs when you are like with a group setting. Because like you've seen like it charges. Like everyone's energy is charging and like has that like that geometry that's working off one another. And so the experience is more charged
Mm-hmm.
than if it's like one singular person like taking like I see like say that again. Like I think pod use can be used by themselves, but as far as like uh there's just different forms of healings that can happen when there are multiple pods in use at one time and different energy systems connecting together, as well as the restoration aspect is way better done in a group. Um but the like you as a conductor have more energy to pull upon when there are more people in the group.
Right. Okay, so that's what I've been seeing before. I'm like, everyone's in their pods. I'm standing over here. There are these things connected to it, and it's coming up through through me. And the information coming up through me via their pods is what tells me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay, let's stop yelling. It's crazy how you yell.
I love it. Um, okay. And what am I to do when we are in a group setting? Am I supposed to experience the pod and be on that aspect, or am I supposed to be doing something different? Okay, that's interesting. They said it'll look different every time, but essentially you're the, like I I like go what I saw is like I go around to the pods and I like open the vessels so then you can get even more energy flowing through you. And then I also intuitively will be the one that's like changing the pressure or like helping people to understand what they're doing and going through. But like I don't know, I just see myself like pushing a bunch of buttons, going to the next pod, like putting in a code, going to the next pod, putting in a code, and then like the energy is like hitting you at like specific times.
So
Or
we're all like a part of a song, like a symphony that's going.
literally, like, yeah, yeah.
So I think it'll be really cool for, like, I guess what I'm wondering from your perspective is if you're going over to them and you'll just see and be guided towards that. But then if you go into someone's pod even, or
Yeah.
like perhaps you'll be guided. I don't know if everyone will need to feel comfortable with like explaining out loud what each person's doing, or like,
Yeah, or if it'll be like a group thing like last time, because everyone kind of experienced a similar thing last time. There were a lot of overlays, so I don't know if it'll be like that every time or if it'll be individual experiences. I think it could also differ and vary.
so that's my next. I'm trying to find like what's the common denominator between when this is working. So is it just the technology is doing its thing, which outputs, because this, like I've seen before that they're very technical, and there's like a lot of Arcturian, like the technology part of it is a lot of like Arcturian stuff, like for the not necessarily all the stuff that's embedded in it, but the tech itself. But like,
That's
it,
why I just saw that's like why
why
my
you're
role is
operating.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't want to say that, but I feel like that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but so it had, like they showed me that one time, like that's just the one thing of it, but it has all this information. So the information is feeding out. Okay. Yeah. And then you're just working. But what's happening inside each one? Is it always just what's most needed for them? Like, how come there have been specific times where I'm with an individual person and we're actually, so it does its thing, but then we're doing more of the science stuff. We're doing sound healing within like surgery stuff. How does that come into play? Or is that, how does that come into play? Like, are you and me able to do those types of things for individual people to act as the physical anchor, or?
They're showing me like in a way this frequency attaches like it calls upon the higher self and then opens up that like container for the higher self to do whatever the hell it needs to do.
It
Um
has said it before. It's like based on the higher self's decisions.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we know like they're showing me like by looking at the pod, looking at like that little hand panel that I've seen.
Yeah.
Put your hand on it and then it changes a bunch. Like by looking at that, like we just know
Hmm.
what's occurring intuitively, which is why then you go into surgery, why then you go into this. Or last time why like I was seeing like what I was seeing. It's just like it can be different for everyone. But when working with a group, there is a group collective, which is why the similar nature, like, yes, some of them are doing what they need to do on their own, but collectively, there might be like a similar experience based on the collective energy and the higher selves all coming together
Mm-hmm.
to then
Yes.
like work and create a singular anchor point that then
Yeah.
allows for like a group healing.
Totally. It like switches from, which is the whole point, right? What's best for me, what healing is best for me right now, to what healing is best for the collective right now. And that automatically like it transpires amongst everyone. Like it's less specific, but somehow just as effective.
Indeed.
Um, okay. And we can be, I guess, just last question with moving forward. If we were to say to people like, okay, we're going to do this thing, we're going to go test it out in this, we have more understanding around it, we're going to test it out in this way. We just say we're just fucking around and finding out, or do we pick a specific, like, could we ahead of time be like, okay, this is kind of what we're seeing will be needed? Do you know what I mean? To market it, or is it just like it's just random every time?
Random every time because it's the convergence of everyone in that beginning syncing that then
The
creates
types of thing.
collective experience.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like
Okay,
us,
finally clarity in a way that feels correct.
Yes.
Okay, amazing. But really fucking crazy about the Sirius stuff because Marissa, when I tell you, I'm friends with a lot of galactic freaks. I don't watch stuff anymore, but I used to. No one's. I don't think that's a theory that anyone's discussed, which is interesting.
I'm gonna make a video about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I've never heard that. And I don't even know that much like about Sirius. Like I don't know. I'm not like I was really into it when everything first started happening, but I've really taken a step back because I felt it was affecting what would come through my, like I think it woke me up and it like brought remembrance in its own way, but now I think I need to like discover these own memories in
yeah,
my own way so it's not biased. You know what I mean?
100%. That's why I'm also like, fuck that. I don't know.
Stepping back. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Um,
very interesting.
the other thing I wanted to say is that like last week I recorded a awakening story video and then I saw you posted one. I was like, well, now if I post mine, she's gonna think I copied her.
No, oh my gosh, do it. Do it. That's so sick. That's so funny.
Okay. So that was it. Super interesting. I then in the Patreon video I did after that, they brought more info through about it, and again we're basically just talking about how we're in the process of reconnecting Earth's original organic blueprint. That includes that of this water experience of self and that of the earth-based experience of self. And I've had other like experiences with different friends when we meet up and just ocean things start happening or water things start happening, and just other remembrances of lifetimes where more and more the things happened that the collective consciousness stopped believing or stopped accepting the belief of what was transpiring, that like life existed in water in a way that we're kind of talking about, right? That there's beings down there, that there's like life, just like we have life up here, down there. And therefore it doesn't exist in our reality because as a collective we've chosen to not experience that anymore, not believe it anymore. And so there have been time periods where like a friend and mine were met up and immediately I was like, okay, I believe we're in Scotland because I saw like a Loch Ness monster. And this was like totally random. I was like, what the is this? Maybe it wasn't that random. I can't remember now. But we were clearly in like ancient Scotland, and we did like this work stuff. And effectively, what was happening was we were reconnecting the memory of them into the reality that we're experiencing. And it doesn't feel like, okay, it's connected and now everyone remembers that these Scottish mer people exist. It doesn't work like that. I'm only sharing what the experience was, but that's effectively what was happening. And so there's just a lot, I think a lot of remembrance occurring for a lot of us right now around timelines and around around the collective consciousness and around unity and just how these things work. And it's really cool and really exciting. Oh, I was talking about did they share anything else? Basically, that was it. They just kept saying, like, restoring Earth's organic blueprint. And it's like, I don't want to say merging. I don't know. I think I can't remember what all was in the video, but I'm sure that was enough. Just wanted to share that. If you're interested in exploring with us right now, we are taking people down to the space and using it. Right now, it's just for our Patreon groups. But that will, so if you want to join Patreon, you can, patreon.com/GaylaShanks, where I talk about this and just other things, and I don't know, we just hang out and stuff. Marissa also has one. Shoot, I don't know what it is, but she just started one as well. So whoever you feel called to. If you aren't into that, we will open it up to other to other people if you're just interested in learning more about the ocean healing stuff and the work being done there. I think that'll about do it, folks. Thanks for listening, and have a beautiful evening or day or morning. Bye.